Alright, we're over here at the mill. We're going to set up a couple of tools on here, and I remember the last time I used this index head, I was noticing that in the horizontal position, it wasn't quite going down far enough to give us 100% in the 90. For what I did and how I dialed it in, I got the job done, and I'm going to go ahead, before we actually get going on this project, I'm going to go ahead and modify to give some clearance in here for this chuck. This item here, when I bought this, or dickered the deal on this mill here with Daryl Nave, I did some modifications on and helped him out with the gear that was broken on his, and in turn he gave me this dividing head, and he was the one that actually he mounted this chuck on here, did a very nice job. This chuck runs really nice and true. I've dialed several parts on it, you know, rotating it around after I'm all set up. Got the part clamped in here. I'm real happy with it. So I'm not trying to do anything here. He's already taken off the back, and he's done everything minimum to get this chuck, which is a pretty good quality. I don't know what the nameplate here is anymore, but it actually has a little symbol here with a giant S, and the M is stamped in the middle, and a CO is on the other, in the other little curly Q there. So that might give a hint on the name brand, and it has a patent date here and everything else. But this is a very nice close chuck, and I like it. He is ground a little bit down here, or somebody else is ground a little bit down there in the past to go ahead and give this clearance. And I got a couple shots here that I'll give you that actually show along this side here, the bottom, and this side over here, how close this chuck actually comes down to it. Now it's only lacking a couple thousandths in a foot or so, but I know that it is touching, and if we get dirt or something else, I want it to have freedom to actually go in there. And actually some of these are actually set up, and there's a gauge here, and it can go into negative 90 as well, you know, below 90 as well. If you didn't have the bigger chuck on here, the head actually will go down and give you a rotation down farther than 90 degrees. So we're just trying to get so that it has a good clean 90 degrees on here, and I'm setting it up. So I've run this thing in and out, and I have an indicator over here because this is a machine flat surface over here, and it's usually the surface I use to indicate this. And I've got this 0 here. Now I also noticed that there was a flat milled across the face here. Right now I'm going to move my indicator around here. And by the way, this is the book on the Model K. So I have that gives me all the increments of combinations of indexing and all the literature and information on the head itself. This head is actually designed for a number 3 or 4 machine, and this is a number 2 Kearney trucker. Alright, now I'm just bringing it to 0, and then I can go ahead and run my rapid here. Alright, 9,000s I get there. Okay, I have to take this virgin material surface over here is the surface I want to go off of. So I'm going to go ahead and, I mean, we're coming in here, we're just giving a relief in here. But we're going to verify this alignment on this piece here with dialing in the piece in the spindle being held, and verify whether it's running through with this or this here. I also just wanted to know that basically we got 0 here. We're I'm gonna say we were +9, but +9. And I'm going to set my dial at 0 so that I know exactly where I'm at here. And because this is where we're going to finish up at. This is going to be climbing, so we're actually going to be starting over at this section, going down and coming over here, opposite of what I said earlier. Alright, now we're just going to compare that 0 there. Where we're at over here. Start. Slightly tensioning all my brakes on the tables here. Alright, I'm going to touch off and I'm going to slightly come down. I want to kiss this area right in here, making sure that we got plenty of clearance. This is where I drew this. This side actually looked like it had clearance, the other side looked like it was rubbing. So we're going to use this to just barely touch it, and then we'll be coming down and we'll go ahead and we'll pull this bolt out here. We'll come on down, catch that, go across, and come up the other side. Now I'm going to get a rag and lay it in here with a couple magnets so that the cast iron does not go into the way area here, because I just fully oiled this machine up here for the whole job that we're going to be working on. We got a couple magnets, probably be playing with those a little bit, moving this along as we feed the table this way. When we go in, we're going to set the dial at 0. Like that, I think I'm going to call that 0. Alright. And I'm going to go ahead and speed this up a little bit. There we go. Okay. We're feeding the table up, so we're going to come up to here and then come on, we're going to crank over this way, go down inside there, and then down over that stud. Okay, I just sped it up here so we can flip along about an inch a minute here now. Okay, as I get down closer to here, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to crank the table this way by hand as that's cutting. Pulling it a little bit this way each time. I'm cranking a little bit by hand here on the up and down because it's just taking longer and I feel like watching this thing here. Okay. Alright. We came down, cleared that out so we know that behind here, this is where that line is, so that definitely is clearing in there. We're going to sight down here. Yeah, I think that was pretty good. Alright, what we're going to do now is we're going to pull this bolt out. We're going to shove a piece of paper down in here after we vacuum out those chips there. Actually, I think we're just going to pull this stuff back and I can push it and tighten it in after we get it down in there. Alright, we're going to go straight down in there until we get down to this height right here, and then we're going to come across. Once we get down to this height, we're going to set 0 on our up and down, because we're going to go across, go up that other side, and we're going to come out, and then we'll be just bringing it out so we clear this, and we'll be cutting this ear the same height as that deck in there. I gotta get a mirror. Alright, I got my mirror so I can see where I'm going here. starting to contact down in there. I'm going to go around the other side here and see if I can see anything. Oh yeah. That looks pretty good. Now I'm going to go back here to 1/2 inch. I'm going to let it auto feed up. I'm going to stop that for a minute. Get a good vacuum on it here. Okay, we're about 1/8 of an inch still from getting down to that surface. Okay, we're going to feed the table this way now. And hopefully we're cleaning up the bottom. If not, we'll come back to our 0 spot here. And it's pulling a pretty good chip there, so it looks like we are cutting all the way across the bottom. Which we do want to create a new washer surface the entire width right there, so we get a clean face all the way back to that shoulder, and we are taking some depth in there on the face as well. Okay, we're going to go ahead and we're going to toe clamp right here. We're going to pull that bolt out of there. And I think I want a longer stud in here with the toe clamp. Now the reason why we're doing this instead of putting that in, bolt in here is just because we don't have enough room to quite get there. I'm going to feel much better doing it this way here. I'm just splitting the difference on the amount of threads coming up into the nut. Alright. Now we're going to pull this middle one out here. Stuffing a little bit of paper down in here so we can vacuum that and the chips right out of there. We'll be able to put our stud right back in there. Alright, now we're going to continue with our cut. See that we're touching here and they've already ground out a little bit there, so we're getting a little bit of a hollow. So what I'm going to do is and we're looking pretty good there. I'm going to go ahead and get a toe clamp on over here and pull this bolt out of here. See how this cut looks behind the center section right here. Just make sure that we're far enough in and we're far enough down at the where we need to be located at. Okay, now that I've moved you in a little closer, you can see this hollow area right here. We need to get that machine surface down to there. I want brand new machine surfaces all the way here to make sure that we have enough room to clear that chuck. If you look back here, okay, you look back in this area right here and you can see that we are skimming that depth, and I figured that depth only needed to be like 10-15 thousandths more there to drop that down into the right angle. So we're gonna, what we did is we just backed up instead of changing out that to a toe clamp on that side, and we'll go with it, our original plan, and then move that stud over to here. When we're over there, we'll be good. So what I'm going to do now is go ahead and take a straight edge, pull it across there. We're going to look and see how far down that appears to be, and then we're going to crank in the table that amount. I think we can go about 20 thousandths. So I'm going to crank the table up 20 thousandths. go 25. Okay. We increased our feed to 1 inch a minute here, so we can come across here a little quicker now that we're sure of our setup. Looks like it's cutting over on this edge here, so that's good. We're almost into that groove, or the slot for the T-nut bolt stud. And it's still just a little hollow. Tiny bit more. You can see that right there. Alright, we made it over to the other side, and I don't want to stick this in too much, it will grab that. Watching this side over here now so we can get past that hole and transfer the nut and everything else to this side here. I'm going to stop that vacuum and take a good look at how far I am. Pretty close, and that's not quite cleaning up down there, and I really want to make sure that I have enough off of here and there. I'm actually going to back it up, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take another 15 thousandths off of that surface. I only want this set up once. Now you can see over here on the far side, you see that's hollow there and it's picking it up here. Okay, and that's all the difference right there is we're taking right there. So I mean, out here at the outside, it looks like we're taking a lot, but in relationship to how much is needed for that truck to sit down at 90 degrees is what we're really going for. So I'm going to crank in another small amount here. Okay, we removed that other bolt so we can go a little farther. We got to toe clamp that bolt into now. And as soon as we get over that other hole over there, I'm going to switch over and put the center bolt in. I believe we're going to be down far enough now. I'll be happy. Now we're going to go ahead and we're going to vacuum out this. We'll put the stud in here. It does help just putting a little bit of paper in there. Always keep your threads clean so you can stick your stuff right back in there. Lots of times you gotta move your hold down bolts depending on your setup. Alright, now we know that we're nice and solid there. We're gonna remove that one, continue off, come up, put that one in there, remove this, and we're gonna come out to clear this, and that same height, and we're gonna come across here, and then we're completely done. Okay, we slowed down our feet a little bit, just because we're going to be we're going in deeper here in the full cut, meaning the full cut width of the cutter. Down here and right there were the two closest spots. This looked like it had enough clearance. That's why I kind of started over here. Keep it all square, and I think we'll end up having a nice tilt down on this head here. We're coming all the way over to the edge here just because we want it to look uniform and dressed off. Machined. Not hand ground. Okay, I'm going to hand crank it the rest of the way through. Okay, now we're going to bring it back halfway. Okay, now we're going to feed the table down. vacuum out that mess, and we're going to go ahead and move a stud over there. Alright, we came down on the height here. We set our 0, and now we're coming past it here, and we're going to crank this in until we got a good visual of where we know we're going to be trimming all the way in there, but we're going to clear on the top here. At least what looks like we might clear the top. That looks pretty good right there. I'll lock that for the in and out. Okay, now we're just going to come in until they touch. Alright, we're touching. Now we're going to go ahead and we're going to feed it. Looking pretty good, I think. Vacuum and see what we got. Okay, that's straight across. That's all that matters right there. And I like the face that's in here. A little bit of cut on that face right there, so it's brought in there. That'll be great for better than it was. Before it had a little washer interruption right here. I can get that washer and that nut in there a lot closer. Alright, we're going to get this broke down, get this cleaned up here. We're going to get this on over to that edge of the table, and then we're going to fold it down and do a test run.